The Apocalypse Players present An Uncommon Burial. A Call of Cthulhu 7th edition scenario written by Danann McAleer in the style of M.R. James. With Joseph Chance as Dr. Henry Carraig-Muire, Dan Wheeler as Reverend Perregrine McCutcheon, Dominic Allen as Lady Helen Marjorie Bjarmia Potts, and Danann McAleer as the Keeper of Arcane Lore. Part 11. Hide and Seek.
I don't know. Len, the groundskeeper, he raised me, and I was at my parents' house, and I just came in. I assumed.
Do you know if he was?
Sorry.
If this Len character was present when the police were here?
But I think he must have been. Yes, otherwise he wouldn't have known. But the board must have asked him to come and find me.
And more importantly, sorry, Vicar, just very quickly, do you know was the professor apprehended here in Len's presence or at their residence?
Yes, well, when he came to me, I'm trying to remember now, all he said was, they've taken Dag, they came to the museum, they closed up, they went through his office and they took him. So I'm assuming this is the state they left it in.
I'd like to speak to Len because it occurs to me, if it was one police officer, it was possibly an imposter and Dag may not have been taken into custody. He may have been abducted.
Oh.
Or possibly...
Oh, God.
And I lean in very close.
Gosh. Sorry, Reverend.
Very close. Pressing against his body, and I'd say, or murdered.
Oh. And he comes. No, he... 3, 2, 1, and restart. There's murdered. There've been deaths. You're joking. No. But surely no, it can't have been. I can raise. I mean, he might be in his. He has a house just down the street from here.
Well, I think we should all go and speak to Len together. But maybe we should finish looking around here first.
I agree.
Oh yes, but we're in some danger. Oh God, I should have locked the front door. I'll go back and lock the front door.
No, I think we should all stay together if that's all right.
Well, right, but what if someone comes? All right. Well, be quick. Sorry, don't be quick. Take as long as you need. But where's your Scots friend? All right. Well, look, I can help you if you tell me what you're looking for.
Any letters from our friend Robert Thompson?
Robert Thompson, yes. All right. Let's begin then.
Very good.
And he starts shuffling through paper. He starts taking the drawers that have sort of been stacked next to the writing table off each other and sort of skimming through
and the books, of course. And the books. There would be 3.
Oh, books. Yes. What were the books?
Beowulf.
Beowulf.
Oh, yes.
First edition seems unlikely, but apparently.
It seems very unlikely, yes.
Unlikely the more times we think about it, actually. But
yes.
The Saxon.
Let's stop thinking about it.
Of the North Yorkshire coast and witchcraft and its influences on 18th century Christian tradition.
Oh, I see. Well, there is a small witchcraft section here, but only smaller, of course. Well, anyway, yes.
I'm sure there is.
I'll yes, and he starts rummaging through. You can, both of you, feel free to give me either. Well, I guess you could go for either a spot hidden or a library use roll. Technically, it's not a library, but
I'd love to give you a library use roll.
Go for it, because although it's not ordered in the same way a library is, you're academics. You probably come across people with dishevelled studies before. You probably still have a sense of where things might be laid out, more so than the layman. While that's happening,
I was just going to say.
Oh yeah, sorry. Dom,
while we're looking, I say to him, and did Len mention the reason for the professor's arrest?
Well, he said there was talk about a murder or something. I mean, it can't have been. I mean, I don't think they were implicating him in a murder. He's not a murderer. Obviously, Miriam would never. But maybe he knew someone, or I honestly don't know. It sounded very serious. It must be, because he's not been back since.
Well, what did he say? Just tell us what he said.
Who, Len?
Yes.
Well, he said, yes. He said, I was to come up. The board needed someone to mind the museum for the next few days. Professor Dagg had been taken to the police station under some suspicion or some implication that he was involved in somebody's death. He said there'd been a murder, that the police had taken him and some of his effects. That's all I know. He's a lovely man, Len, but he's not the most talkative. That's all I got, really. I saw no reason to question it.
Thank you.
That's all right.
I've got a hard success on a spot hidden.
Lovely. Well, we'll come back to those. And while that's happening...
Good.
Carraig-Muire.
Aye.
You went to try, next to the samurai suit, you went to try this sort of blue-painted, like navy blue-painted door. It does creak open, and there's a sort of very small sort of walkway towards... what you can see was the actual back door that you tried earlier. Well, you assume it's that. It makes sense in the layout in your head anyway. And there's another door on sort of either side of this whitewashed sort of miniature, like a little stubby corridor.
Well, I'll just take the first door on the left and have a
on the left, yeah.
Have a look through, see if it's open, and see if there's some wood in there.
Yeah,
I'd like to try and patch up that window as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you open the door to the left, and it's a toilet.
Noted.
Nothing really of use, but I don't know. You might need
tempting,
to go.
But no, I went before we got on the coach.
Always tempting, yeah. Just for the sake of realism, but
exactly.
You're all dehydrated, so probably no need. You've had fry-ups, but I don't think anyone's mentioned drinking.
It's 1901. I haven't drank water for 3 years.
Yeah, well, quite.
And I'm absolutely fine.
Oh, no. Drink the water, it'll kill you.
Just laudanum scotch and, yeah, quite.
Laudanum scotch, coffee and tea.
And tea. And weak ale, small beer. But if you pass across...
Orange squash.
Orange squash. Oh, yeah, a classic. Iron brew, surely. But
very Presbyterian.
You pass across the corridor, open the other door, and it's a bit stiffer, but it does open. There's no light inside, but seems like quite a squat, like a narrow sort of room going back, and there's mops and sort of brooms and quite a low ceiling, but you can see there are sort of boards, stuff like the backings for the glass cases, things like that. It looks like the sort of room you'd probably be able to find something to board up the window in, but it's a bit dark.
I'm not going to try and waste any time. I'm just going to absolutely try and get the simplest thing I can do to cover the main bit of the damage and stop the elements coming in.
Yeah, great.
Trying to do right by the mistake, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do me a spot hidden then, just for the sake of it?
Obviously, I will have a wee gander around. There's 58, so I've failed that again. 58 on my 46.
It's very dark. You find a few planks and stuff, and again, felt backings that you think were for the cases and stuff, but there's nothing that you think would be a sturdy enough thing. You could move further into the room, but it's just dark, so you can always push it with using a lighter, or there doesn't seem to be a light switch or anything. It's up to you. I mean,
don't use another lighter.
Maybe you just look elsewhere. I'm just tempted to see what might happen.
No, I just think, I don't think I'm interested in creating any more chaos or carnage here. So I'll just If there's nothing in that room, I'll head on back.
There's bits and pieces, but you can't get deep. You'd probably trip over a mop bucket or something. It's not worth the risk.
Well, while I'm here, is this lock into the back door? Is it flickable open, or is it?
It is, yeah.
Or is there a key?
So you could open up the back door. There's no key in it. Although Tom had a set of keys, so it might just be that.
Well, that's fine. If we're going out that way, we'll open it ourselves. But I'll check to see if it is unlockable from this side. And so long as it is.
Yeah, and it does. You can pull it open, and it opens onto the sort of the back. And again, the gardens sort of surround the whole building. So you see just a lovely sort of cherry blossom sort of trees heading down towards the...
And there's no one sort of just casually hanging out watching us or anything like that I can see?
No, nothing like that.
Okay, in which case I'll close the door and relock it, and I'll head back to the others.
Yeah, great. So while that's been happening, the other two of you, how did you do on your rolls?
I got a hard success on my library use.
Nice.
Could even probably make it an extreme success with the spending quite a bit of luck. But
And I got a hard success on my spot hidden.
Oh, excellent. So is that a hard on library use and a hard on spot hidden?
Yes.
currently, yeah.
Aye.
Okay, excellent.
I think it would be too much luck for me to spend to make it an extreme. So yeah, it's a bit hard.
Yeah. No, fair enough. So as you're sort of rifling through the occasional sort of ejaculation from Tom, he calms down, but he he's still recovering from Marjorie's sort of murder, she wrote. But no, wrong dates. No, he wasn't there then. Although they've been in correspondence since, as I said, and he's sort of going through all this stuff. With the spot hidden, first of all, let's deal with that. You notice straight away up on the above the sort of one of the shelves, there's a series of sort of not posters, as it were, but like sort of illustrated. There seem to be maps, and you notice very instinctively, like quite straight off, the same symbol that you found on the ring, the Vegvasir symbol, sort of seems to be drawn across a map. And that draws your eye. It seems to be, at first glance, a map of the east coast of England, sort of the majority of England, but focused like on the east coast. And there's various sort of points, perhaps of interest, marked, little scrawlings, notes, and things. But it's the bold thing is this sort of Viking compass, which obviously grabs your attention straight off the bat. And you do, at a sort of, with the hard success, you see that the primary points, not the centre. The centre seems to be in the sea, in the ocean, because of the angle of it. But the primary points of the north and south branches of the compass seem, I guess they would be Norfolk somewhere. You're not quite sure where, and somewhere very close to where you are now. Perhaps like up on the moors between Robin Hood's Bay and Whitby, but it's marked out in that angle. And as you're looking at that, Perregrine, with your library use, I think it's like you're going through the papers and you realise that whether it's a genuine constable or whether it's this Len character or whether it's Tom or like whoever, you're not sure obviously who to trust or what's actually happened here. Maybe it was Miriam Dag himself. It's in disarray, and you decide to sort of abandon the papers themselves and just have a sort of a scan of the, you do one of those, it's almost like Nolan-esque sort of time lapses where things fall back into place from where they were. It's like a scene from Tenet or something. Right. You just train your mind. But you think to where things might have been placed that were regularly used, and you do see that where the shelves have been disturbed, underneath, you go straight to basically the corner between the desk and these shelves where there's a pile of papers, and you just shuffle them off the top, and there is there a leather-bound book, and you see R.R.J. Miltkin, Beowulf, first edition. I mean, obviously the first edition of this edition, not the first edition of Beowulf. I just need to put that in there so repeatedly so people don't think I'm a complete fucking moron. But you do find, you see this tome, and it seems to have been missed by whoever was looking, or maybe they just didn't know it was of any importance. But if you pick it up,
I do.
Just give it a sort of scroll through. You see distinctive handwriting in it, and fool you once, shame on you. Fool you twice, shame on someone else. It's Robert Thompson's handwriting.
Okay.
And there's several points throughout where there's sort of scribblings and simply, it sort of reminds you, it's not quite as frantic as the journal you found before, but it seems like he's been annotating this quite fervently.
Is it
awful behaviour for a borrowed book, How
big is it? Could I slip it into my coat pocket?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, you could. It's not a huge tome. It's not like, it's a translation, so it's not one with the side-by-side original or anything.
Basically, I don't want to announce its discovery.
Sure, you want to maybe slip it without Tom noticing.
Yes.
I mean, he seems to be quite busy with the papers, but of course that means he's sort of turning constantly and stuff. So I think that might be a sleight of hand.
Fine, or a stealth.
Yeah. What's the? Yeah. I guess Yeah, well, yeah, fuck it.
Okay, no.
I think it's a sleight of hand. Sorry, man.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That's totally fine.
It's very specific, isn't it? But
I mean, it's not the end of the world if I fail it.
Well,
I'll just
so you think.
I'll hide it.
You hear heavenly horns. Flames rise outside the window.
No, that's no good. I think as I go to put it in my pocket,
Yeah.
maybe see him turn around. So I abort and I say, I found it. One of them is here.
Oh, you're not a Catholic then? Oh, I see. Oh, that was the book you were after.
Well, one of them, yes.
Beowulf. Oh, I see. And do you mind? May I? He sort of goes to take it from you.
I go to hand it to him, but at this moment,
You stab him.
I'll go to hand it to him, but I won't immediately release it. I'll just see how eager his hand is to take it from me.
Okay. Interesting. Is that a psychology roll by touch?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, great.
That thing where you keep holding it and don't let go.
Ooh. Yeah. Just,
Like that border guard in the US.
That's good. That's good. That is a regular success, but my psychology is only 29.
Right.
That's good, yeah.
Oh, for Perregrine, that's very good.
Yeah.
So you you hold it out, but you just linger your hands long enough to see how fervently he...
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. It's weird because it's an odd sensation. You know what you'd expect if someone's desperate to sort of snatch something away from you. You'd feel that pull and be like, fucking hell, all right, mate. It's almost like it's the opposite, but it gives you the same feeling. It's almost like he touches it, goes to pull, feels a bit of resistance, and immediately lets go, and just says, "Actually, I don't need it. I'm just glad you found it. Perhaps one of the other two will be here as well." And he sort of busies himself again. But you get a real odd sense from that moment, like he's realised you're judging him.
Okay.
And he's reacted in an odd way.
Okay.
Which isn't quite enough as like an admission of like guilt. Maybe it's just nerves, or he doesn't want to snatch a book from a reverend, but it gives you a weird feeling inside. It's like a limp handshake, but weirder. Yeah. And then he just busies himself again, maybe slightly more frantically. Sorry, yes. No, well, you found one. There must be another around here somewhere.
Yes. Well, we should keep looking.
Yes. Marjorie, are you doing? Do you want to have a closer look at this thing you've spotted?
Yes. Well, I think what I do is I discreetly take out my pocketbook, and I want to make a little note of the points of interest, locations, and also see where these north and south points exactly are. See if they have a name or a nearby location that we could. I could jot down.
So, yeah, I mean, are you trying to do that discreetly, or do you just sidle up to the wall and start making notes?
Yes, I get very close to the wall and sort of, I don't draw attention to myself while this book business is going.
But so you're not trying to stealth?
Not explicitly. I'm just relying on the fact that he's distracted dealing with the vicar's discovery right now.
Well, yeah, you sort of hear that sort of back and forth going on. So you get close enough. I mean, it's still pretty high up. You'd want a little mini stepladder really to get too close to it. But I'll say you get close enough to see where those two... It's like the intersections on the bisected compass, if that makes sense. You know, there's those lateral crosses along the sort of vertical, and the two primary ones on north and south. The south one seems to be... Looks like it might be near King's Lynn. You see the word Walsingham sort of scrawled...
Yes, Kel Surprise.
Kel Surprise. And up north. Up north, it just says Weathersoul. But it looks like there's a sort of series of little dots. And it does look to be sort of on the moors somewhere between Whitby and Baytown, Whitby and Robin Hood's Bay, so close enough to where you are.
When you say a series of little dots, do you mean sort of very close together?
Yes.
Almost like it could be marking standing stones or something like that.
Yeah, easily something like that.
Do they correspond to the the little markings on the point of the weird Viking compass, or are they separate?
No, it's like they're just dotted around it. But the sort of intersection, the mapping, the mirroring intersection is slap bang in the middle of them. It's almost like a little rash, like the map's got the mumps in that little area, okay. And slap bang in the middle there's this thing, and it just says Weathersoul.
Interesting.
Weathersoul.
And the centre of the compass itself, as I say, is like just off the coast, so it's like slightly in the sea, and you can't see the right or the east or west ones.
Well, I do wonder what my knowledge is like of this sort of thing. Let's see, what would it be? History? I don't have any history. I've got firearms, pretty good with a shotgun. Let's see. Persuade. No, not really anything going for me there. Obviously, Dominic suspects that it might be a sunken place like Dunwich or something like that. One of those places that's fallen into the sea. But maybe Marjorie doesn't know that. Yes, is this map in a frame?
No. Nailed.
And how big is it? If it was rolled up?
A3?
Well, that's not too big. I just think fuck it, and I take it off the wall.
Excellent. At which point, I mean, like I said, you would need to maybe stand on something, because it's above the shelf. So do you sort of... There's a chair, obviously, by the writing desk.
Yes.
At this point, I think...
Oh, that'll do. I'll pull the chair over.
Tom's already redoubled his efforts and then sort of turns as you're pulling the chair over and go, can I help you?
No, I'm very well.
I can steady that.
You're quite capable, young man.
What are you looking at? You found something else?
No, the chair will be fine. I don't need you.
I'm just taking this. Don't want to hurt your back.
No.
I'm taking this.
Oh, what's that?
It's a map.
A map, yes. All right. Well, we'll carry on. I mean, anything that's of use. I'll make a note, obviously, in case anyone asks. I'll have to tell them.
No, you don't need to mention this.
Well, no, I should. Just otherwise I might be...
Why?
Well, I might be liable to anything that's been stolen. I assume Professor Dagg will be back shortly. I mean, I can't imagine they have anything to do with what they're being suggested of.
Well, I don't see why it's any business of yours or theirs. It's between myself and Professor Dagg.
But I see your point, but it is me that's let you into the office. And
I'm only borrowing it.
All right. Well, as long as you're borrowing it.
Yes, I'll bring it back. Professor Dagg's borrowed these books, after all, from the Oster Library.
Yes, I see your point. Any more luck, Reverend? He's...
I'd like to do a psychology roll on that interaction. If that...
Okay. Yeah. I think that's fair.
I want to get out.
He seems very innocent.
Well, until I roll these dice, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, let's see how that goes.
That looks good. Let's see. That's at 29. On a 53, so that's a regular success, but I could spend 3 points of luck to make it hard if it would help.
I mean, how much luck do you have?
Oh, more than I'll need, I'm sure.
I'm asking the wrong person. Yeah, definitely. In case you need to arse bomb someone again.
So I'll spend the luck on that then.
That's what I dealt with earlier tonight.
Okay. The way he sort of abandons again, it's quite similar to what he just did to Perregrine, although you weren't actually cognizant of that. You know, the sort of attempt and then the failure to connect. It's almost like that. You get this sense of a real draw of like, what is that? What are you doing with it? I need to stop you. And as soon as he reaches any sort of like wall, he just sort of completely melts back and says, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, absolutely. Well, hopefully we find something else. You get the impression that his mind is still completely on that thing that you're taking off the wall, and completely on you doing it. And he's making an attempt at seeming
nonchalant,
like he's nonchalant, even though he's still acting nervous. And you also see his hand come up and sort of touch something through his shirt.
Oh no!
In a sort of moment, and then he sort of breathes and keeps moving around.
Okay, that's enough for me. I fold up the map and push it down my bosom, and then as soon as his attention turns away, I stride right up to him, and I press myself very close to him.
Up against the wall again?
If he's close to the wall, then
over the desk.
Yeah, possibly he might get a tip.
Just the tip.
Tip the man, Perregrine.
You know.
And I say, young man.
Yes.
I have more questions for you.
All right. We can go and see Len if you'd like.
No. I think I'd like to talk to you a bit more first.
Right.
When you keep referring to tell them, who are you referring to?
What do you mean?
Well, you keep saying, I'll need to tell them if you've taken something. Who's them? That's a...
Oh, well, it's just the board. I mean, those who run the...
Oh, really? Really?
Yes.
I'm starting
the
to
council,
think,
you know.
If I went to the board myself and asked them who is in their employ, and I told them about a young man called Tom, do you think they would know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I'm sure they would. I mean, well, perhaps the paperwork hasn't gone through yet, but I usually just help Professor Dag of a weekend. They know that. That's why they've asked me in. I'm not on the payroll yet, if that's what you mean. They'd know me. I'm sure they'd know me.
If they met you here now, would they know you?
Yes. Len knows me.
Does he?
Yes.
Would they know...
Well, I can take you to him.
No.
Well, yes, of course they would. He's the groundskeeper.
And I want to get close enough, and then I'm going to put my hand on his chest and say, we have to trust each other. But really, I want to feel what's under his shirt.
Okay, well, you sort of press him against, and he sort of breathes, and you do get this sense of, I mean, it feels like a sort of Triskelion. It feels like you get the sense of this sort of beaded thing, maybe in a 3.
So it's not a cross?
Not a cross, no. Well, it's sort of a cross, I suppose, but not at the right angle. With an arm off, you know? And he sort of says, listen, I'm not lying to you. Honest to God, I'm scared. I'll be honest, I'm scared. Call me a coward, but I'm just a fucking student, pardon my French, and I was told there were dangerous people. You've come along and broken a window. I'm trying to help you. I'm letting you take things from the office.
Calm down. Everything's going to be all right.
No, it's not, though, is it? That's what people say to you before they kill you.
Well, don't give me a reason to kill you, then.
All right. I'm trying not to as hard as I can.
I think we should all go and see this friend of yours, this Len.
Yes.
I think that's a very good idea.
Yes, Reverend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he's sort of still pinned against the wall by your bosoms, and he sort of says, could I just extract myself then, and I'll...
Oh, yes, terribly sorry. I didn't mean to press.
That's all right. Carraig-Muire,
Aye.
I feel like, having abandoned that side room,
Aye.
did you want to do anything else? Well, I think if you decide to come back into the museum proper, you can hear voices and shuffling around, so you can tell they're at the sort of the other end through what you can see as an open door. You can tell that there seems to be conversation and sort of looking around going on in there. You do therefore have sort of the museum to your disposal, as it were, for a moment, if you wanted to do anything else, or do you want to come and rejoin them towards the end of this conversation?
It's like it'd be so hard to find the exact thing that I'd need to, I think it's probably better that we get some stuff from the study, as I'm calling it, or the library.
Yeah.
There might be some really good stuff in there.
It's just hard to know where to look.
Yeah.
Maybe I just linger for a moment looking at the permanent collection, I suppose. And
yeah, so I mean, to your right as you exit the door, you've got this full samurai suit next to you. You get the impression, even from your sort of initial glancing, it does seem to be a bit of a hodgepodge museum, like almost one of those little sort of curiosity museums that's probably curated by one person. Like I'm thinking like
the Horniman.
Like the Horniman, yeah, or like even stranger, like the Victor Wind Museum, if anyone's been there in Bethnal Green. It's like you've got stuff from like ancient cultures, but it's all like the most esoteric mad shit, and he's also got weird modern shit like a gold-plated skull of one of Pablo Escobar's hippos, and it's just you can tell it's just one person's mark. It's not quite that strange, this place, but next to the samurai thing, you've got like horseshoe crab skeletons, and you've got over there, and that leads straight onto the
very idiosyncratic.
That's the word, idiosyncratic. You get the impression you'd probably want to find like a little guidebook or something if you were looking for something specific.
I don't see any burning hands, do I?
Interesting.
Oh no.
Because didn't somebody say something about that at the museum at Whitby? Or was that...
It was a different museum, I think. But maybe I'm wrong.
Well, maybe that's what it's just crossing my mind, I'm looking for some kind of occult.
Do you want to take a few steps into the stacks, as it were, just to like as your eye draws you in?
Yeah, I think I do. I listen and I hear a few fragments and I think, they're giving him a hard time, but they're on to him.
You've got a moment.
I'll take this moment before I go back. My intention is to go back. That's always fatal, I know, but I'm going to...
Yeah. So you pass by a couple of macaques, sort of badly stuffed, their arms at the wrong angles. Their eyes too glassy, even for glass eyes. These.
I take the 45 out and I shoot them both.
Yeah, quite right too. Someone needs to put them out of their misery. No, not that they're alive. And the parrot talks to you, of course, until we realise, no, it was stuffed, but can't have been. But you make your way along, and you do notice there's past a couple of arrowhead selections, and just the normal sort of nothing of particular interest even for yourself. You do notice, and there it is, there's some sort of like wicker or hair. You realise it's hair bundled up almost into like a human figure. And you realise there's a little witchcraft sort of section there, that it must be charms, like sort of poppets, things like that. There's also what looks like a sort of a rock, like a child's fist almost, that sort of size, this sort of grey rock with protruding. You realise that the plaque says it's, a lamb's heart pierced with iron nails, as it were, as some sort of ward. Various trinkets along that line, and as you pass towards the next cabinet, you do see suddenly a human hand. It's back towards you, and wicks coming from each finger. The veins very clear on this pale hand on a pedestal, and you immediately flash back to that waving, flamed hand on the staircase in the Bogglehole guest house. But it's clearly, it only takes a moment to realise it's wax. It must be a reproduction. They wouldn't have that in a museum. I mean, it wouldn't be legal, possibly, but it certainly wouldn't be But you see the Hand of Glory, colloquially known as the Glory, and there's this sort of miniature plaque sort of listing its. It was believed to give the bearer the power to see in the dark, or to be awake while all others slept. Again, a list of things that it was supposed to do. But it does make you realise in that moment just how close you are to Baytown, and just how entrenched, whatever beliefs, true or not, they'll be shared.
Yeah.
The things you experience there. But yeah, other than that, it just seems to be a series of poppets and little charms, odd little charms.
And they're not Triskelions, any of these charms.
Well, as you look a bit closer, you see that there is. I mean, there's like strangely, there's like what looks to be a sort of acorn turned on its bottom and sort of hollowed out, with like a sort of stick figure in it, almost as if they're a rowboat. You think of the ferryman, the river Styx,
Charon.
Yeah, exactly. And there's all sorts of that, and you do see there is a series of ash keys, one of which seems to have a small sort of third growth on it. Very similar. It just dried out though, not varnished, not set in a particular position, but it does look like a similar thing to the one that you found. although not sort of set in position, as it were.
Yeah, it's definitely something I think that I'd like to show to the Reverend. So I think that's the trigger. It's almost like it's almost like I can hear him whispering in my ear.
Yeah.
And I dash back with some speed. But there's a moment where I'm very held looking at that hand, and maybe even my stouty, trusty, shillelagh-like stick goes slightly limp in my fingers, and I'm just staring at it, and I can remember that oppressive.
It does it. It's like it turns to rubber. It just folds down in your
Yeah. No, but there's I can't hide the fact that I could do with a good hit of the poppy. I could do with some poppy right now, but I dash back.
Couldn't we all?
Unless the keeper wants to punish me with some sort of temptation, I'll dash back to the others.
Well, no, not at all. But as you do that, the other two of you've just sort of accosted. Oh, well, talk to this young man, and you release him from your bosoms, sort of against the wall. And he sort of says, "Thank you. So, you want to see Len? Yes.
Yes.
We should go to his house. Is that the plan? I mean, I can take you there. I can show you there.
I think that would be an excellent plan.
Great.
You said you assisted Professor Dagg.
Yes.
Did you assist him? Did he let you in here very often? Was it in here?
No, not often.
Oh, I see.
Not often.
In what way did you assist him?
Well, I just general upkeep, letting people in, sort of occasionally let me have a go to go through the, the other rooms, find something to make a collection out of, It's my interests,
How
really.
long did you know the Professor?
Oh, well, maybe 3 years or so.
I see.
Yes.
I see. Interesting.
Shall we?
Yes.
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 I couldn't find anything useful. Nothing big enough for that window.
Oh,
so sorry.
Christ.
Sorry. I beg your pardon.
No, it's fine.
Doctor.
Your friends have found something in here. Sorry, madam. No, you haven't given me your names yet.
No. We'll come to that. Doctor.
Could we come to that soon, just in case anyone asks me?
Carraig-Muire, I've already said.
Oh, yes, yourself, yes.
Who's going to ask you? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, the board, the council, the police, I don't know.
They're not going to ask you in the next 5 minutes, are they?
I'm Reverend Perregrine McCutcheon. I didn't catch your name, actually. I heard Tom something.
Thomas. Well, Tom. Yes, Tom. Mortimer. Yes.
Mortimer.
Yes.
And I'm Cynthia Beerbomb Tree. Now, Doctor, would you keep young Mr. Mortimer here some company while the Reverend escorts me to the convenience?
No, that's all right. I should lock up anyway. Did you find anything to board the window? We can't leave the window like that. And he sort of walks out and sort of sidles towards the window. He says, "What? Anything? Did you check the back room?"
Yes, there was nothing big enough. It's pitch black in there.
Are you sure? Opposite the toilets?
Sorry. I know the one. I saw a few boards. They're not the right size.
Oh, there'll be something in there. No, there will be something in there. Sorry, do you have a light? Oh, I've got a light. Don't worry. And he goes.
I follow close behind him.
Okay.
I definitely follow close behind as well.
Oh, I was going to say I was going to linger back and try and talk to one of you, but
well, if you clutch me by the elbow.
Oh, in fact, yes. As soon as the Reverend walks past out the room, following him, I hold your elbow momentarily, and I sort of draw you backwards slightly, and under my breath I say, "I don't trust him, Doctor. I think he's been lying to us. I think he's another imposter. Nothing makes sense. He was very interested in what we were finding in there, what we were looking for, and he kept saying he'd have to tell people. And then I put my hand upon him. I saw him touch his chest, and when I touched his chest, he's wearing a Trispetillion, or whatever it's called.
A Trispeterian.
Presbyterian. He's wearing
one of those.
Yes, he's wearing a Triscallop on his chest, and
there's one of those wicker-fingered dead man's hands over yonder.
Oh, we can't get him. What if he goes and lights one of them? He'll put us all to sleep.
I better go with him. You stay safe by.
Yes, I'll come with you. We can't let him out of.
Let's stick together.
We can't let him out of our sight.
Aye.
I don't trust him one bit.
As we both look at the door, realising we've let him out of our sight.
We should have all given false names.
And then the fog starts coming in.
Yeah, through the windows. You're not that far ahead. I mean, Perregrine, you're right with him, right? So, like, you do get to the blue door as these guys hang back, and you can hear them talking. So I think he sort of, it'll be open. Your friend's just been through, and he sort of opens the blue door, and you follow him through, I assume,
into the blue room,
and then he shuts it and he locks it behind him. And he says, I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
And then he pushes you into the wall and he runs for the other door.
Motherfuckers.
I warned you. I said something.
Do we see it?
I said something.
Do we see it, or is it just outside?
No, he led Perregrine through the blue door and locked it behind him.
Did we hear it lock?
I'm assuming so. So you can run.
What's he doing? What's he doing? What's he doing?
Oh, bastards! I'll try and run straight through the door.
Well, I guess I try and run after him, but
Yeah.
at a disadvantage.
Okay.
Is the glass in the door? No.
No. It's just it's the blue door, the sort of
Wooden door.
painted navy door. Yeah.
A chase.
Yeah, I don't want to get into a full-on chase, but
It's not enough distance, even if we wanted to have a full-on chase. It's like a few steps away, really, at most. What's your move rate?
only 7.
Okay. I mean, he's gonna beat you to it,
Yeah,
but he doesn't push you to hurt you.
sure.
But he just lays both hands on your chest and gives you a firm sort of move back into the door. And he just says, "I'm sorry," and he dives for the door, opens it. You see like mops and things in there, and shuts it behind him.
That's much more worrying than him escaping the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I run to the door and I start banging on it. Presumably he's locked it behind him, has he?
It seems he must have done. He's not making any noise from behind it that you can hear.
My son, please don't do yourself any harm. The Lord has given you this body as a gift. Whatever you are up against now, my son, you must not throw that gift away. Do not cause harm to yourself. Everything can be sorted out. We've dealt with problems before. My boy, please.
And then it hard cuts back to me and the doctor, and I turn to the doctor and say, I hope that little cunt kills himself like the others did.
I'm shouldering the door.
Yeah.
Which is
strength.
It's actually an extreme success, I think.
Oh shit, son.
12 on a 65. Is that?
Well, I mean,
it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's impressive because this is, I mean, you've been through, it's a solid wooden door, like almost maritime-esque.
Aye, but I'm going for I duck low, shoulder down, stick up, and I try and hit it right by the lock.
Yeah. Right at the latch. Yeah. Well, you're an expert at that stuff.
All
and it
technique.
does splinter.
We're Scottish. They teach it to us when we're 9.
Yeah, primary school stuff, innit?
You know what I'm saying?
GBH. No, that's the wrong one. But B&E. A restart. Yeah, you splinter it open, and I think you probably just you come into Perregrine saying this at the door. You know, my son, please don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
There's a staggering because I'm not quite steady on my feet. I'm almost staggering into Perregrine, but I just managed to right myself.
Yeah.
And I go, where is he? Where is he?
He's in there. He's in there, and I'm fumbling with the hairpin that Lady Marjorie gave me earlier that I was so rubbish at, and I say
loudly enough for him to hear, not with the intention of meaning it. I say, don't bother picking the lock, Reverend. Just set fire to the place and burn the blighter out. Keep him alive so we can torture the truth out of him. It's what my husband would do.
I insert the pin in the door and start muttering a prayer to be inserted afterwards in the edit. A prayer for some sort of aid.
Yeah.
Lord, in my time of need, come to my side. I know what I'm doing, but with your help, I can whatever. And no good.
Well, if it ends like that, it's not going to do very. No. It's probably because you said whatever at the end.
No, that's.
Oh, please, Lord. Oh, whatever then.
My one. I was hoping for a miracle. That would have been very lovely. I think in that moment, Peregrine's faith disappears.
Yeah, and also just the panic of thinking there could be a young man, like, literally cutting his own wrists or whatever is enough to give anyone, the shakes.
Yeah.
The other two of you, while you're watching this happen, do you want to attempt anything yourselves? You can hear no noise from the other side of the door.
I assume he had the drop on it in the sense of, that's what he was doing.
Oh, totally. He's the closest, but yeah.
I'm not coldly watching him.
No, but I think as you approach, as you sort of gather round him, maybe try and hear if you can hear anything. I think that's the moment where Peregrine's prayer sort of falters.
Do they get a listen while I either try and push the roll with my 11 lockpick locksmith, or do I try and
juicy
kick the door open?
11. I mean, that's your call, but I mean, if there's a moment after the hairpin comes out, I mean, anyone can give me a listen if it's a sort of moment of stillness of, can we hear anything?
I think I'm not being still, but I'm pimping out to my fellow players. Maybe they're realising something else is happening while I'm either taking a step back to shoulder barge or...
Yeah.
A fail for me.
Marjorie, your breath is still sort of in your own ears. You can't really make anything out.
Step back, Perry.
And I suppose it makes sense because I've been right there up against the door muttering this prayer that I have rolled a hard success.
He hesitates. I tell him to step back, but he doesn't.
Wait.
You hear a breath in, like a sort of like two. There's like big breaths. And then you hear the noise of wood on something, and the breath stops.
What?
It felt like, it's almost like someone, like, it feels like the sort of breath someone takes before like committing to something really like
Tsubuku,
kind of terrifying, or almost before like diving off a cliff or before
it's killing himself.
Yeah, you get that impression, and then there's this sound of just like a heavy sound on wood.
Do I do it or not, man?
A Roman.
Yes, break the door down. Break the door down.
I'll charge at it.
A Roman suicide.
I think it's a better chance than... yeah. It's not a fumble, but it's a very hard...
Sudoku Kabuki. Cut that.
Sudoku Kabuki.
I don't think you should cut that. It's too funny. It's too horrible and it's too funny.
It's too good, yeah.
And Shogun is so in my mind at the moment. 94 on a 65. I bounce off that door.
I think it's the fact that you did the other one so effortlessly, it seemed. Yeah. But obviously, 2 in a row is, I
was asking a lot.
Takes out of you. And you just feel this sharp shock in your shoulder and you realise, I didn't hit it with enough force. That's not going to budge it. And you also think maybe, because it's so solid, it doesn't even look as solid as the blue door. You kind of think maybe he put something up against it from inside. Maybe he's like propped planks up against the... It feels solid, basically.
It's better than seppuku bukkake. Given the way he's been behaving, it might be. Cut that.
That's just wanking into a newspaper, isn't it? Sudoku bukkake.
Oh, God. I begin hammering on the door like a madman. Saying, Tom, don't do it. Tom, Reverend Blackwell.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Give me that. I scrabble around for the pin on the floor. Marjorie, what do we do? And I'm trying to get this pin into the door to see if I can...
You stand aside. And I put my hands on the door.
Here we go.
I put my hands on the door.
I roll away and I look at her as if she's about to cast some kind of magic spell.
Oh, God.
And that's
she uses her Reiki powers.
That's exactly what I'm going to attempt to do.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
My hands on the door. And I've seen all this shit now. And I think, why don't I have a go? I've got nothing to live for. And I put my hands on the door.
Holy shit.
And I'm going to do a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow. I love it. Tell me how you go. Oh, God.
Everyone we meet dies. This is bad.
I think about the crows. And I'm like, I'm not going to let them...
Dom just did the long face. Oh.
I thought I was closer than I was. I've got 10.
You've rolled a 10?
No. I've got 10 in Cthulhu Mythos. I thought I had 20. I failed that. Unsurprisingly, nothing happens, but I'm tempted to push it.
I would argue that, like...
He's probably already dead.
That he's probably already dead.
Oh, yeah,
and
but
even if he's not, it's probably not going to be pivotal. That's Dan speaking, not
Yeah, no, it's meta.
Reverend would
we
say,
know that.
do whatever you can to save this innocent boy's life.
No, of course, yeah.
But I've got no idea what you're doing.
Yeah. So I've just put my hands on the door and I'm very quiet. And then I just go, oh, it's not right. And I throw my hands down and I go, why is it those bastard crows can do all this supernatural nonsense? And I, to achieve anything, have to hurl myself out of a window. And I walk angrily sort of pace up and down the corridor.
There's one of those hands in there, I say loudly.
What?
So that Peregrine's catching up to speed. There's one of those hands in there.
What?
Those hands of glory.
What? That's exactly what I feared.
And do you pick your hands up after throwing them down, or...?
No, I'll just kick them under the door.
Leave them there.
Does it count as a push if I try to unlock the door?
If you're using locksmith, ooh... I guess enough time has passed that I'd just give you the straight roll, because I know you don't have, like, a massive amount in it.
It's like an 11% chance.
Things have happened since then. I think the moment is different now.
If the mechanism is different, is unlocked, at least I might be able to nudge and bang and...
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And also, I think it was more the franticness of the situation that stopped Perregrine rather than, like, the mechanism being...
Well, it was mainly the fact that I had 1 point in locksmith.
Well, there's also that. I mean, let's be honest, yeah. Trying to weave it into the story, but, you know.
11% chance. So let's see what happens.
Sounds good.
Wow, I'm rolling so high.
You just pushed the hat pin through your palm by accident.
11. So 96 and above is a fumble, right? 96.
Yes.
And that's a 95.
Fuck a doodle do.
Really?
So for a moment, it does feel like you feel like you're jimmying it into the center, and you give it a last push, and you just shift your hand at the last moment because you feel it suddenly poking in under your thumbnail, and if you didn't adjust, it just flicks off the...
Oh, it would just gone...
Oh, under the nail, horrible.
Instead, it just kind of drags along the side for a tiny cut.
Exactly. It's nothing. It's nothing, but it could have been really fucking...
Oh, it's not, though. Any cut under the nail is torture.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah. It sort of flicks over the back of the nail and just cuts up the bit there.
Breaks the nail.
It doesn't go underneath.
Breaks the nail.
Yeah. You're going to have to get your French tips redone, but it's all right. It's only aesthetic.
There must be another set of keys. And there must be another set of keys, I say, and I run out of the room.
Oh, Reverend, you've scratched your shellac.
I don't know whether I'm running to the office or to, like, the front. There was, like, a front desk. I'm going to run back to the office.
Yeah.
And start.
Right.
I mean, we've already turned it over, but madly, I'm going to be pulling out the drawers.
Give me. Well, I mean, you did a library use before, so give me a spot hidden because you haven't done one in here yet. Well, you're looking for something very specific, so.
Oh, here we go. That would have been useful on any of those previous rolls. That's a hard success on my spot hidden.
As you turn back to the door, thinking this is a nightmare, you've sort of shuffled papers off the desk that you can't really see. You see there is a series of hanging hooks by the door. There's 3 sets of keys. One of them looks like a similar bunch to the ones that Tom had on him. So you get the impression there's about 6 on there. You get the impression those are the ones, probably, if any are there, that would open all the doors.
I grab it and run back to the room, but I imagine a considerable amount of time has passed.
Yeah, I mean, it's like maybe 50 yards to the room and back, along the back end of the museum. So the other 2 of you, as the Reverend rushes, and you sort of hear his footsteps retreating. I mean, you just mentioned the hand. I don't know if, Marjorie, do you pick up on that again, or do you want to try anything else? All you can hear now is silence from behind the door.
Do you think we can use that hand, I say, as I put my back to the one side of the corridor and I start to try and kick at the door? But it's not really a pushed roll, it's just me sort of...
It's the show of it, rather than...
It's like...
You don't feel like you're getting any purchase, so you're not going to break your legs over it, right?
Yeah. But maybe something will loosen, and nothing's loosening. And I'm thinking, Christ, what can we do? So I stopped that after 3 or 4 kicks, and I'm just looking around. Mostly, every third glance is to my opium bag as I look around for something, inspiration or.
Oh, Sarah Jarosh.
Yeah.
I love Sarah Jarosh.
What do we do?
I'm trying to listen to the Sarah Jarosh. Do you mind?
Everybody dies. If we meet them, everybody dies, I say.
Yeah, as you say that, you realise at the back door some tourists have just come up sort of to knock on the window.
I did think that's exactly
as if to ask if and they hear you shout that and they just and run off down the path.
I was going to say, I'd open the door and be like, yes, come in, have a look around. You're not any good at picking locks, are you?
One of them says, are there any Egyptian masks in there?
Yeah. Big American guy.
Yeah.
Where's he gone?
There wasn't a window in there, was there? I suppose you'd have thought of that.
No, from what you saw, it was like dark and narrow and long, but it was just jam-packed with...
Exactly. I say it was pitch black. That was the problem. I couldn't see what I was doing. Oh, to hell with this. And I'll try and...
Wait a minute.
As she says, wait a minute, and that's just enough to stop me from charging it.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Isn't it possible that... we heard that noise, and we've assumed the worst. But what if it was just him opening a trapdoor?
You stay here, and I'll run to the back door and see if there's anything that I can see. But obviously, by that time, Perregrine will probably come back. So.
Perregrine, you hear his footsteps returning. Perregrine with the set of keys and.
I've got the keys, and I'm jingling them in my hands, like trying to work out which is the right key to the door.
Yeah, well, you're trying a few of them. So, yeah. While that happens, Carraig-Muire, did you want to do anything at the back door?
Well, I'll pause running round the building. I'll get to the back door and I'll open the door and I'll look around to see if there's anyone running. Did I get any vague sensation of where Len's direction was? Like, is he running that?
Yeah. Well, he gestured while you were in the. Well, he gestured while you were in the office, actually. So you probably don't have a.
So maybe I didn't see that. Yeah. So
the others might have got a sense of like.
I think I'm just kind of eyeing to see if anyone's making a run for it.
Well, do me a spot hidden.
But weirdly, I'm still stuck at the end of that corridor or to that back door.
Yeah.
Waiting to see. Oh, it's so close, guys. 48 on a 46. But my luck's 28. Man. I can't risk it.
I'm already on 23.
God.
Well, you don't see anyone running. You don't even see anyone.
I see nothing.
Gardens seem peaceful.
Fog. It's just fog everywhere.
Oh, just fog. You see nothing in grey. Perregrine, you do eventually one of these keys sort of fits the lock, and you sort of. Do you want to turn it and open it?
Yes, I've got it, and I do.
Yeah, and you open the door, and
I step back in.
It's dark again. And there's no sign of Tom initially, but there's mops and brooms, and it looks like things are sort of muddled around. Carraig-Muire, shifts.
It looks like a broom cupboard, basically.
Yeah, like a broom cupboard, but longer, like almost like a cellar of sorts, but on the ground floor. There's like hose and rakes and gardening equipment in there as well. Do you imagine the groundskeeper, Len, if that is his real name, which it is, keeps in there. But again, it's too dark to see much further than that. Although you do see there is a sort of a shape, sort of looks like it's swaying slightly.
Oh
God!
Here, and I'll start. I'll rip out the record of the high days and holidays, which I may regret, from my pocketbook, and I roll them up into a kind of hasty screw of paper, and I start lighting the paper as I'm going. So that'll last longer than my pathetic tiny lighters.
Sort of like the pampas grass in.
I was going to say
Prospect
with pampas grass absent.
Yeah. And what were you saying, Perregrine? Sorry,
I assume what I'm looking at is probably a body swinging. I run to it and try and lift the legs.
Well, as this blaze...
I mean, I get the impression it's pitch black, dude.
It's pitch black, but as you light the paper, the sort of bundled paper, it flares up, and you do see this, like, it's almost like a huge shadow towards the back, and it's flickering, and it looks to be swaying, and it does, in the moment, it looks like a body hanging from something. And I mean, you can try and push past to get to the body if you want to try to. It looks a few feet further. There's like boxes and clutter in the way. And the light is sort of swaying to and fro. It's sort of, I don't know, either one of you could try and get forwards and...
maybe we both do.
Carraig-Muire, do you let him past, or do you both sort of go for it at the same time?
Well, I was imagining you had the advantage of the ground because you were at the door, so I assumed you'd gone in, and I was trying to follow you to give you light, which unfortunately does give you the light.
And I think that's why it's sort of hard to see, because it's now your shadow is between Carraig-Muire and his lit papers and the back, so you see the shape, and it seems to be swinging, and it seems to be flickering in and out. It does look like a body hanging. You assume the worst, and like... Yeah. If you want to, rush forward and grab...
Help me lift him. And I run forward and I try and...
I hiss, careful, man, careful. Is there nothing else in here?
And you rush forwards and you trip slightly on like a bucket, and you're desperate to get to it. And I think what you said earlier, the Reverend Blackwell, that residual guilt that you still clearly feel from having left the poor man that year ago, like clearly in you, you're desperate not to let that happen again, and your arms close around him and keep closing and keep closing and keep closing.
At least they try to, but I grab his left arm by with all of my physical strength before that, and I say, "You didn't leave him there. None of us left him there. We tried to go back for him. We were forced off. It. There was nothing we could do. We tried again and again to help him off. It was as if there was some fated force that told us there was no way that non-player character was leaving from that situation. I mean, that man, that Reverend, was leaving from that situation. So you can say what you like in your prayers or on your Discord. We never left our man behind. It was evident there was nothing we could have done."
And as you finish saying that, you realise you've grabbed his arm at the same time he's gone to close it around this body. But his arms are just... it's like they're closed around yourself.
There's nothing there.
There's no body there. Well, no, there is. But you realise it's just a coat hanging.
Oh.
And it sort of comes off, and almost as if you're embracing it, and you sort of take it down and you realise it is... the fact your arms closed in around this figure and then just kept closing it. All it was a hanging coat, and you look up now in the stillness of that moment, both of you, Carraig-Muire having given this impassioned plea for him not to feel the guilt of having left a man behind, which obviously comes from your own days in the Sudan and is linked in with all sorts of trauma and is what you need to think, and it's what...
And I feel guilty about leaving him behind.
Exactly, yeah.
I haven't seen any of them throw themselves out of a window to kill a nemesis.
But in that moment, you both...
I think I'm not even holding his arm, am I? He's got the body, and I think I was grabbing his arm, but actually I've grabbed Lady Marjorie.
Oh, you probably have, yeah. You've still...
And it's like I've said all of that to Lady Marjorie, and I'm looking around.
She's there like, oh!
Terrified.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was still in the corridor, but yes, I could have come in.
Well, I have not even entered, maybe. Or maybe I've just gone across the threshold, and I grabbed your arm, thinking I'm speaking to him.
Is he dead?
Where is he?
In that moment of stillness, you look around and there is no one. You can see the back wall. There's no door. There's no body.
Is there a trapdoor?
No one in here.
There must be a trapdoor.
I frantically light one of the mops.
Wow.
Desperation.
Classic Cthulhu maneuver. Right, let's have a mop lighting roll.
So what would that be?
Well, what's your mop bonus?
Scottish Gaelic?
Yeah, if you could. Well, Doric. Let's go Doric. And
Doric.
do you have a
Latin?
Yeah, Latin, please. And do you have a mop bonus or?
I've got an anthropology.
Basically
anyway,
the same.
Essentially,
you put the mop on your head like a wig.
I've rolled a 24, mate, so I've lit the mop. I think we all know the truth is.
Great.
25.
It's lit.
Under 20.
It's lit. Great. And you see, like, there are just planks and mops and all that stuff dotted around. There's this coat that Perregrine seems to be cradling now. I don't know if you cast it aside or what, but you're all there, maybe Marjorie in the doorway, the two of you further in, Perregrine the furthest in, and you're in this narrow room cluttered with stuff. But you've got this flaming light, and what are you searching?
I heard a sound. I heard breathing and a heavy wooden noise. Where's he gone?
The trapdoor. Away underground. Like you said, Lady Marjorie. Perregrine.
I'm looking for a light switch.
Love it. You can't find one, unfortunately.
Bother.
But I mean, nice to make yourself useful.
Maybe some gas.
It is 1901 Yorkshire, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's not that. The museum's not doing that well.
I'm a senior citizen.
Edison's not been along just yet.
Maybe some.
I'm a senior citizen. But you do, in that blaze, looking around, you do see, moving through Perregrine, I think, well, all of you now, I think, looking, you see on the floor there is clearly a hatch. And there is clearly a recognisable symbol carved into the wood, a simple symbol. It's the same one that was on the trig point outside the guest house. And it resembles the face of an owl.
Well, I told you so. I told you so.
You did. And I might cut the fact you told them so just at the last minute, just for drama. No,
Well, it'll make it look less like you made it up because of my suggestion.
Well, except you actually
Yes.
didn't hear the noise. I was the only person who had heard the noise.
Well then.
that's true. Well then.
Well, I thought it anyway.
That's fine.
I mean, I'm not going to trust anyone who speaks to us from now on.
I nearly hit him without even thinking about it.
I think that's the attitude we should take from now on. I think it's punch first, ask questions later when they've broken some limbs.
And then he'll fuck us over.
Don't trust those wagtails.
When minus a few teeth, we might get a bit more truth.
Just tied him up. We should just tie everyone up.
The tunnels into Whitby. Shit. I might need a gun. I'm not very good with guns. I think I'm breathing hard as I finish this increasingly frantic search of this storeroom, and I'm thinking to myself, I came in here, I had the opportunity, and I didn't take the risk. I played safe. I felt like it was better to go back to the others, and he turned it all on us, and he got away. And I feel this crushing sense of responsibility. And that does remind me of Blackwell. And I think to myself that I've been foolish to lose my temper and to pretend that it wasn't my fault. We could have tried to have stayed out there. We would have died. I'm sure of that. Or not died, perhaps. Become something else. Transformed. Translated. Can't say why I feel that, but in my heart of hearts, I know we would have been translated if we'd stuck around waiting for Blackwell. Trying to somehow break those chains, focusing only on that. We wouldn't be here now. I'm sure that Blackwell's gone. I'm not sure that Robert's gone. There's a strong chance he has. But I don't know what these people are up to. But they've command of a system of tunnels and secret places under the earth. There's something very wrong here. And I think back to that hand in the cabinet. That hand of glory. With its weird waxen colour. The unnaturalness of it. And I think back to how the crows used it I remember seeing it flickering below on the stair, and how quickly I was forced into sleep, and the forgetfulness of dreams. And I know in that moment that you can't stand by and do nothing about people like this. And it's the fight that's never left me. It's the rightness and the wrongness of what happened in the Sudan. Whether you should have been there or no, which we probably shouldn't have been there. But once you are there, you have to carry the fight on. You have to try and bring the light into the dark, and not some cursed, self-serving light that's in worship of something long dead and forgotten to most people. No, you have to try and blaze. And I look to the Reverend, and I look to Lady Marjorie, and I see this fear there on their faces. But there's also something of pressing on, needing to know, but also wanting to stand against. Although I feel terrified, I think to myself, do we go down now? Or do we pull back, get supplies, resources, and then press on? And I suppose in that moment I'm stuck for a few seconds, just still, looking at that owl shape on the trapdoor, on the tunnel entrance. This wise, savage, alien shape. A bird that's like the wisdom of the gods. And then I step out of it, and I start to move.
Edison's not been along just yet.
Maybe some gas, Lady Marjorie. Why don't you just bend over hard and I'll...
Wow.
No, too much?
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said there. What did you say?
Oh, I was assuming you were going to...
I couldn't hear you. There was a noise. There was a noise. I didn't know what the noise was. There it was again.
Oh, God.
And you're all incinerated immediately.
Oh, my God.
It's as if a hand of glory lingers in the air for a moment.
That's when we see the dynamite box, the TNT boxes.
Yeah. These barrels, what do they hold, I wonder? Like Doom in here.